I am sorry on behalf of the United States government. I want you to take this heartfelt apology. We are living in some of the scariest times that this country has ever seen. You are the light that they are afraid of, because this honestly is not right or left. This is right versus wrong. I really don't care your status. As a Black woman, all I can think about is the slave patrols. And the reason I bring it up is because history matters. This particular president, if you've not noticed, he has somehow managed to let seemingly every terrible criminal he could find go free so long as they are his friends or whatever it is. We are a country of immigrants. It is time for us to unite and stop allowing people to divide us. Mr. Ranking Member, and to Senator Blumenthal. You know, I have my prepared remarks, and as I sit here, it is so emotional for me. I just want to say, number one, I am sorry on behalf of the United States government, because regardless of who they claim to be, I am telling you that the best of us is present here. And we represent the United States as well. So I want you to take this heartfelt apology, something that I'm sure that they have not ushered a word to you about. And I also want to acknowledge how heroic you are. We are living in some of the scariest times that this country has ever seen, yet you have not backed down. I have seen your faces more than once. You refuse to go silently and into the dark. You are the light that they are afraid of, and I am so grateful for you being so heroic at such a scary time. When the history books are written, they will know your stories because you decided to be brave in the face of those cowards. So Representative Khanna brought up consequences. And I'm the type of person that is constantly looking for how do we come up with solutions. I became a lawmaker because as a lawyer, I just didn't feel like it was good enough to stand in the courtroom and just argue each case at a time. I wanted to change the laws. And right now, it doesn't seem like we have courage as it relates to the elected officials to do what's right, because this honestly is not right or left. This is right versus wrong. I don't know how any party can say that they are the Christian this or that. And then see this treatment of human beings. I really don't care your status. I get that everyone here today is a United States citizen, but honestly, I have said over and over and over that as a Black woman, all I can think about is the slave patrols. And the reason I bring it up is because history matters. You said it best. You specifically talked about these injustices and how this is circular. That is the truth. But what I'm saying is that if you believe in humanity, if you believe that we live in the land of opportunity and the land of free, then why should it matter that you're just scared about what may be coming for you? You should just be about doing what is right. And that is why I'm so mad. So I want to talk about some things that I want y'all to do, because I know organizations are standing with you. They're supporting you. We know we've got great lawyers. Some of the things that I've been thinking about is this particular president, if you've not noticed, he has somehow managed to let seemingly every terrible criminal he could find go free so long as they are his friends or whatever it is. So I fully anticipate that going forward, he is going to say, everyone that is ICE, you are absolutely going to be protected from any prosecution once we lose, because we're going to lose because these policies are not right. I think it's going to be very important that, number one, you make sure you keep up with any and all evidence that you have of what took place. It's most likely going to be those local prosecutors that are going to have to go after these people. We have to make sure that they are held accountable, because there is no reason for us to have those images and you to have these experiences and you to experience this trauma. And then everybody say, well, we tried our best and our best just wasn't good enough. No. We have got to think outside the box. We have got to be aggressive, and we have to stand up for what is right. I don't care what your color is. I don't care what country you came from. We are a country of immigrants. It is time for us to unite and stop allowing people to divide us. So again, I just wanted to say thank you. I've had a chance to meet some of you before, and with that, I will yield back.
If we've learned anything this year is that congressional Republicans are more interested in serving Donald Trump than they are in serving their constituents. Over the past 10 months, they have given away permanent tax cuts to the wealthiest people on earth, demolished half of the White House, pardoned violent insurrectionists, significantly driven up cost of living across the country, and then given themselves a taxpayer-funded 8-week vacation, all so that they could delay as long as possible Congress voting to release the Epstein files. And now they're trying to gaslight you into believing that you should trust them on crime policy. They want you to believe that living in a police state is a good or normal thing. They want you to be okay with having armed soldiers and federal agents monitor you as you shop for groceries or take your children to school. They want you to think that you won't be affected. But we've already seen Americans detained, arrested, injured, and some nearly killed because of this administration's reckless approach to handling crime. And they're doing all of this without acknowledging the fact that Republican-led states are experiencing a murder and crime and violent crime crisis, and they have for the last 2 decades. The Republicans' murder state rates were 33% higher than Democratic state murder rates in both 21 and 2022. In fact, over the past 22 years, the Republican state murder rates were nearly a quarter higher compared to states that are led by Democrats. Even when you remove Democratic cities and counties from the Republican states' data, their murder rate is still nearly a quarter higher than states run by Democrats. Ms. Levine, how long have you studied crime?
You're going to have me show my age. Is that nice?
It doesn't show on your face, honey. That's all that matters.
Let's just say about 3 decades.
Okay, very good. So would you agree that factors like poverty, lax gun laws, and a lack of public services can lead to higher crime rates?
Yes, I agree with that.
According to the Census Bureau, states with the highest poverty rates are disproportionately Republican governed and often have laxer gun laws and less public services. Wouldn't you agree that these factors are likely why Republican-led states have higher murder rates than Democratic states?
I would. In fact, I would like to lift up some research from one of our faculty members, Dr. Robert Apel. He recently conducted a study looking at the relationship between levels and quality of public assistance and crime, and found that there is the relationship in the expected direction. That is, lower public assistance, more crime, more recidivism.
Thank you so much for that. So not only are you likely to be a victim of violent crime in a Republican-led state, you're now less likely to receive victim assistance because of Republicans cutting resources for food, shelter, and transportation. This is what Donald Trump's America looks like. Never let a wannabe tyrant convince you that the only way for you to be safe is to live under a police state where he controls your day-to-day activities by means of military or armed federal agents. That's what we call a dictatorship. And I just want to be clear, because I appreciate what you just brought up, because I did serve as a public defender and a court-appointed attorney. So as we sat here, I remembered that one of the witnesses' opening statements, they mentioned the word why. And as Michael Jackson used to sing, why? We have not dealt with the why. We have not dealt with why crime happens. And if you understand the why, then maybe you can come to a conclusion. But as someone who has sat there with people that were too poor to be able to afford their own attorneys, I can tell you some whys. But what I am going to do is talk to you about why the idea that incarceration is the only thing that can fix anything, and the fact that we have 2 witnesses that are telling us that we need to go back to the '94 crime bill when we learned that all that did was drive up incarceration. It didn't drive down addiction, because addiction is actually an illness, but that's a whole other issue. And you can't incarcerate your way out of an illness, just like you can't incarcerate somebody that has cancer and believe that somehow they now will be cured. But I digress. What I will tell you is that we also know that the U.S. has the highest incarceration rate of any independent democracy on earth. Worse, every single state incarcerates more people per capita than most nations. In the global context, even progressive U.S. states like New York and Massachusetts appear to be extreme, just like Louisiana and Mississippi. In addition to that, the United States has the highest incarceration rate, the highest average firearms per 100 people, highest homicides per 100,000 people, and the lowest safety and securing rate of 12 countries in comparison. I had a 17-year-old that was charged with stealing food out of the concession stand at his high school. Unfortunately, in the state of Texas, at the age of 17, you are considered an adult. So what did they do? They decided to charge him with burglary of a habitation. He had an attorney that was not me when he went through this. They put him on felony probation. Ultimately, they revoked his probation because he was too poor to show up to his actual probation officer, as his mom was the one who was required to take off work so that she could take him in. I'm gonna wrap up, but this is really important for people to understand. At the end of the day, they ended up giving my kid the maximum punishment for less than $20 worth of candy that he stole out of the concession stand. Ultimately, I told them that it was a mistake to send him to prison. When he went to prison, he learned how to be a criminal. That's where he learned how to cook meth. The next time that I saw him, it was because he had committed a real crime. Ultimately, all that did was harm our communities. And I will be clear, this was a poor young man, but he was not black. So, and this was in rural Texas.
Time has
this
expired.
was East Texas.
Time has
So I want to
expired.
be smart about what we do with crime, and I want to make sure that
Time
we
has
are putting our
expired.
money in smart places. Thank you so much for